A young woman vanishes after saying goodbye to her father. Days later, he follows a gut feeling to a sealed-off pit, and what he finds changes everything. This is Cries from the Caribbean. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Cries from the Caribbean. For those of you who listened to the first episode, thank you so much. Seriously, you guys are awesome. Today's story comes out of Jamaica, and it's very recent. In fact, things are still unfolding as I record this. It's about a father who is fighting not just to find out what happened to his daughter, but to make sure the person responsible for her death faces justice. This is the story of Derricka Rogers, also known as Muffy from Clarendon. On the evening of May 27th, 2025, a young woman named Derricka Rogers was waiting at a taxi stand in Milk River. Her dad, Derricka Rogers, who also drove a taxi, pulled up and stopped to have a chat with her before heading off with some passengers. During their chat, Derricka spotted a juice box in the front seat and jokingly asked him for it, to which he playfully told her no. Now listen, I grew up with a Jamaican dad too, and I can just picture that moment. I've had way too many of the same little back and forths with my dad, and I usually get what I want if I'm being honest. Anyway, before they said goodbye, Derricka told her dad she'd be hanging out with her boyfriend that night, so she wouldn't be coming home. What her father didn't know was that it would be the last conversation he'd ever have with his daughter. The next day, Derek tried calling his daughter, but there was no answer, no texts either, and that wasn't like her at all. From what I've read, if Derricka missed your call, she'd return it every single time. So by May 28th, not even 24 hours after she disappeared, Derek reported her missing. But he didn't stop there. He started knocking on doors, asking around, trying to piece together where his daughter might be. His gut told him that something was off, and he wasn't about to sit around waiting. Gravel Hill's a quiet part of Clarendon. Farming community, tight-knit, the kind of place where people know people. So I imagine, as a taxi driver, Derek probably had a good sense of the area, the roads, the shortcuts, and the folks who live there. I don't know exactly how he managed to do his own investigation, but what I do know is that it worked. He started getting tips on tips, and one in particular stopped him in his tracks. A property in Milk River with 2 septic tanks. One was open, and the other covered over with what looked like freshly laid concrete. We don't know who gave him that tip or how he got it so early on, but honestly, I'm just in awe of the man's determination. He wasn't waiting around. And unlike the case I shared in episode 1, where things dragged on because of red tape and poor communication, this one has been moving fast. I actually want you to hear a piece of Mr. Rogers' interview with the Jamaican Observer. Take a listen.
It's when we go to the yard where the youth use to stay, and we see, when we go there, we see 2 man. When you go there, you see a tamper with. We go there without the police, because no police never did it to come with it.
Me getting information said the house is not a guest house, it's one eye woman house. That's how I get it. So me have to tell them like how me get it.
Anyway, we go there, we do what we do, we wait, me call, because me did have an ex-police and me call and him tell me, say, Derek, don't do nothing foolish, don't go for the yard. because they can get charged, whatever. So I say, alright, cool. But wait, when the police come, the man who responds to the house come, pull the gate, we go over there, and the man call the lady in front of the house. The lady say, 4 years ago, she wrote on the pit, so nothing new not supposed to do it. And the police tell him, say, alright, him see something work on the pit since lately. So the police ask him, say, if him can pull the pit, him say yes. But after the police they make a call, I don't know who them call, bigger authority and them call, them say them cannot pull the pit today till tomorrow. And me get mad and start cussing about and say we have a burn down your house. And so come make them, because people them come with me now, everybody start retaliate, they burn down your house. So I so come make them say, alright, we don't pull it, because if I don't pull it and she not in there, we have to go buy back cement and we don't have no problem with that. You understand? And I so come make we pull it and buy it.
On June 1st, Derek and a few family members went out to find the property. And the moment he saw the pit, he said he just knew. Something told him that's where she was. He begged the police to dig, but they hesitated. Said they didn't have approval yet from their higher-ups. Bureaucracy, paperwork. While this man stood there, looking at a sealed pit, feeling in his bones that his daughter was inside. The police didn't want to touch the pit until the next day, but Derek wasn't having that. He pushed harder, called the property owner who lives overseas and got permission to dig it up. But here's the thing. If nothing was found, he'd have to pay for all the damages. That's how serious he was. He and his family even threatened to burn the house down if the police didn't act immediately. Now look, I'm not one to promote violence, but imagine being told your daughter might be buried in a pit, and the police are telling you to just wait till tomorrow. No, that would break any parent, any human being. Eventually, the police got the green light. They didn't want things to escalate even more, and honestly, they didn't need to. So, they started digging. So fast forward, the property ended up being firebombed anyway by unknown assailants or vigilantes. Anyway, a crowd gathered to watch. Phones out, cameras rolling. Everyone waited, breath held as the concrete was broken apart. And just real quick, this part always gets to me. The way people record everything these days, even the most painful, intimate moments. I was looking at a case where a young woman was recently found off a highway in Trinidad, and people were snapping photos of her exposed, lifeless body like it was nothing. I still don't understand it. And her mom had to see those photos. If you have any thoughts on why this happens, I'd genuinely like to know. Message me, DM me, Facebook me, anything. As they kept digging, police spotted a bag, and the smell hit immediately. That awful, unmistakable stench of death. Reports don't say what kind of bag it was exactly, but it had to be large enough to hold a body. Of the many videos online of this discovery, you can see inside the pit and what appeared to be a black bag. From what it looked like, there was nothing else in the pit besides that bag. No water, no debris, just more concrete. But inside the bag were the decomposing remains of Derricka Rogers. Buried with her was a plastic bag, or as Jamaicans say, a scandal bag, and inside it were some of her personal things. Her old school ID, her house keys, her sanitary products, and her TRN card. For those of you who don't know, a TRN is a taxpayer registration number. It's assigned to every citizen. As soon as Derek saw those items, and her shoes, he knew it was his daughter. Because of how badly decomposed the body was, police couldn't say for sure how she died. But with everything else surrounding this case, they strongly believe foul play was involved. Around that same time, and I probably should have mentioned this earlier, police had taken 3 people into custody, 2 men and 1 woman. The woman? Reportedly Derricka's own cousin. None of them have been officially charged, and their names haven't been released. But one source says they were arrested for deliberately giving police false information. Basically, trying to throw them off the case. But then, there was chatter online, whispers in the comments, posts being shared. People started saying one of the suspects might be someone close. Someone who had reason to lie. Someone who was possibly the last person to see Derricka alive. The name that kept coming up? O'Neill Mitchell, also known as Oily, Derricka's boyfriend. Now remember, Derricka had told her dad she'd be spending the night with her boyfriend, and according to both family members and a voice note she sent to her mother, he was the last person she planned to see. But by the time the police found her body, Oily was gone. Allegedly, he had fled the country. And here is where it gets really wild. Remember that property Derrick had to call overseas to get permission to dig up? That house? That land? Allegedly, and I emphasize the word allegedly. This is community gossip, which I don't want to normally promote on this podcast, but allegedly it belonged to O'Neill Mitchell's wife. Yeah, let that sink in. What's even more unsettling is Oily's TikTok page, which I had the displeasure of viewing. He's posted content that, let's just say, raises serious eyebrows. At one point, he even hints at wanting to hurt someone. I can see why the community and Derricka's family are side-eyeing him hard. But at the end of the day, it's all circumstantial. Enough to raise suspicion, but not enough legally to prove guilt. Still, the investigation is moving quickly, and police say they're actively working on it. My heart goes out to Derricka Rogers and his family, who just laid Derricka to rest on July 20th, 2025. I actually reached out to a few people who knew her, hoping to hear more about the kind of person she was, but I couldn't get a response. I spoke very briefly with her aunt, and she could barely speak due to her tears and her sadness. And I get it. The wound is still so fresh, and it was definitely too soon to talk to her about her precious niece. It was unfair for me to put her in that position during this hard time. I remember what it felt like in those months after my mom was killed. I was a teenager, so maybe the experience was a little different, but I just remember thinking, nobody else understands. No one gets it but us, me, my family. So Mr. Rogers, the Rogers family, and all of Derricka's loved ones, if you ever hear this, please know that I see you. I feel deeply for you, and I truly hope justice comes quickly. It won't take the pain away, but it would at least hold someone accountable for the way your daughter's life was taken. If you or someone you know saw anything suspicious on May 27th or 28th, or had a weird interaction with anyone connected to this case, please say something. This family is hurting. I've witnessed it firsthand. Derricka's father can't even enter his daughter's room. It hurts so bad. you can contact your local police or Crime Stop at 311 or submit a tip through their website. You'll stay completely anonymous, meaning no one will ever know it was you. Thank you for listening. Please hit follow to stay up to date. And if you want to support the show, I've dropped some links in the show notes. I'll see you next week with another story, this time from Guyana, my birth country, actually. Stay with me for the safety moment of the week. So, for this week's safety moment, I want to remind you to always let someone know where you're going and who you're going with. I know it sounds simple, maybe even a little annoying, but it could really make all the difference if something ever goes wrong. In Derricka's case, she told her dad she'd be spending time with her boyfriend that night. And because of that, he knew something wasn't right when he couldn't reach her the next day. That small piece of information gave him a starting point, and that's huge. So whether you're heading out to meet someone new, going out with friends, or just taking a different route home, drop a message, send a voice note, or even share your location with someone you trust. Even if nothing happens, at least someone knows your last move. And that matters. Stay safe out there.